Let's bring you one of our top stories tonight, that the meeting between President Bola Tinubu and labor union leaders to finalize agreement on the minimum wage has been adjourned till next week. The meeting was adjourned after about 1 hour discussions at the presidential villa in Abuja. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero, has said the status quo on 250,000 naira as minimum wage stands, while the federal government and organized private sector agreed on 62,000 naira. President Bola Tinubu had said he needed time to consult with other stakeholders before sending the bill for the new minimum wage to the National Assembly. Let's get some views on this. We're joined now by Public Affairs Analyst Jide. Jide, it's good to have you on the news. Thanks for joining us.
Felicity, it's my pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. This was a highly anticipated meeting. Were you expecting to hear the NLC president say afterwards that the union did not negotiate at the meeting and that, in the real sense, it wasn't a negotiation but a discussion?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, because the negotiating team has already been dissolved after the submission of their report. They've met and they have made their recommendations to the president. So the president is just consulting before making up his mind and sending an executive bill to the National Assembly for the legal processes that will lead to the formal takeoff of the new minimum wage. So what the labor unions had, the meeting they had with the president today was just a kind of consultative meeting. And you could see that the labor leaders have asked that they needed to get back to their organs and discuss and give feedback. And they have agreed to meet in another week's time, in a week's time. So what the president has done is in order so that at the end of the day, the president is not seen not to have consulted widely enough before taking a final decision.
But today, let me interject and just ask the question that's at the edge of my mind. Conversations has been ongoing. Labour has met with different representatives from the government. One would expect that at this stage, the president will have all the issues and all the burning questions at the tip of his hand. So when he has conversation with these gentlemen, it will be to just finalize things. Isn't this dragging on too long?
Well, it is dragging too long. Don't forget, Felicity, this is a federation. Left to the federal government, maybe it will not have minded paying 100,000 minimum wage, but it has to carry along the organized private sector and then the state government. So that's why the meeting, the committee of 37 that was set up under former head of service AG, they have to find a median, which is 62,000 naira. And you could see that even the state government were kicking that they don't have that 62,000. So can the federal government go alone and announce a figure when other arms or other tiers of government would denounce and say, well, we don't have the capacity to pay, or the organized private sector will say we don't have capacity to pay. And I saw the wisdom in what Labour is also doing. Labour has marshaled its own argument. First, when you look at inflation, when you look at dependency ratio and several other factors, 250,000 seems like a reasonable amount, but no government in Nigeria today will pay that much. So, but can the government in good conscience says that 62,000 is the apex, is the ceiling that it can pay, knowing full well that with 30,000 minimum and the 35,000 net, which is already by work.
Okay, I think the network is interrupting Jide from finishing his submission, but he seems to think, I'm assuming that the very likelihood of 250,000 as new minimum wage is very slim. Do we have Jide back? Jide, can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Felicity?
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Go ahead and conclude your thoughts. We lost you for a bit.
So what I'm saying is that can the federal government in good conscience said that it cannot pay more than 62,000 naira, knowing full well that workers are already enjoying at least minimally about 75,000 naira now. There's 30,000 minimum wage, 12,000 naira peculiar allowance that was approved by Buhari administration, and then the 35,000 wage award. So how would you be paying that amount, almost 75,000 naira, and then you are coming to negotiation and saying that you cannot pay more than 62,000 naira? I mean, in fairness to Nigerian labor unions, I feel that government can do better. If it cannot go beyond 75, it should not go below. But by and large, I think 1 week of consultation will not do any harm. It will just allow all the tripartite, the parties to have an holistic view of what is doable, what is going to be sustainable, because it's all about sustainability, affordability and sustainability. Those are the two critical elements in this negotiation.
All right, we're out of time for this conversation, Jide, so I'll just quickly ask, do you expect us to have a close to this conversation after the meeting next week?
I hope so. I do hope so, because already the last minimum wage has lapsed as at April 18, 2024. So government is in the deficit to have this should have been concluded before May 1. But at least we have assurances that the government said whenever they eventually decide on the new minimum wage, workers will start to enjoy it from 1st of May, which means essentially that nothing will be lost. But I just feel that the spirit of give and take, federal government, state government, and the organized private sector can do something like 75,000, 80,000 minimally. And that will mean the labor also shifting ground from their Olympiad heights of 250,000. I don't think any reasonable government will jump from 30,000 to 250,000. Where will it find the resources? More so that you have only 10% of the population of every state.
I personally look forward to a shocker. I personally look forward to a shocker where the federal government will say, maybe I'll give you 200,000. Thank you very much for speaking with us, by the way.
I hope New Central will pay you that minimum wage when eventually is announced.
They are.
We look forward. Let's just hope that we are able to avert any industrial action, strike, and all of that.
I hope so too. We do not
need that at this point. We need some political and economic stability.
All right. Thank you again.